Before I go into my therapy session, I'm going to take some CBD drops because OCD treatment requires something called ERP, which stands for exposure response therapy, which I may go more in depth like later on in this video, but technically after sessions you could actually feel worse and your anxiety will actually heighten, and you may think like, what the fuck, aren't you supposed to feel better after a session? But with OCD it's different. Like, they want to trigger you like that's the whole point, but I'll explain it more later on. So to calm myself down before the session, I take some of these. So let's take these. Okay, so another way that I kind of calm my anxiety and all that is getting ready and kind of just dressing up, which seems kind of random and unnecessary, but it makes me feel better. Like when I'm all, you know, dressed up and ready, it just makes me feel good. So I usually like to do that. I may also, you know, do something nice for myself and buy myself a coffee or buy myself flowers. And I know when you have anxiety, you most likely don't like want to go out in public, and I won't lie, my anxiety in the past few months have really made me avoid going places, avoid people, and I'm trying really hard to change that because I don't want it to prevent me from having, you know, like a normal day-to-day life. So I'm really pushing myself to, you know, go out and do small things for myself to make me feel better and to kind of like, you know, face my fears in a way. So also I thought this would be very fitting is I got 2 new products from Rare Beauty, and the reason why it's fitting is because I found out Rare Beauty actually gives some of their proceeds to mental health organizations, and it made me want to support the brand even more. Love you, Selena. So I'll just kind of briefly talk about what I deal with. I'm not going to go into like great detail, and it is mental health awareness month, so that's another reason why I wanted to put this video out there. So really quickly, I'm going to try Rare Beauty's liquid blush in Happy. I mentioned this in my last video that I really wanted to try this, so let's see how it goes. Oh, pretty. I usually don't do like cool tone colors. Pretty. So in terms of mental health, what I deal with is very moderate to severe OCD. I only laugh just because it sounds like I'm one of those infomercials, but I know I've briefly mentioned in my COVID vlog that I suffer from OCD, and I don't want to make this channel about that. Like, I don't want to like constantly talk about it all the time. I've only mentioned it more lately just because it's something that's been very prominent in my life lately, so kind of why I mentioned it. Some backstory: I technically have always had OCD since I was probably like 11 to 12, and I didn't know it was OCD at the time. I thought that was just a normal way of thinking. Like, I thought me overthinking everything and panicking and being afraid of literally everything was normal, and you know, I shouldn't have been an 11-year-old afraid of like dying. Or I remember a big thing for me was when I was 11 to 16, I had this fear that I had cancer, and I was like so convinced. I even had doctors be like, there's literally nothing wrong with you, why are you so worried? And literally nothing convinced me to like believe that I wasn't sick or that I wasn't dying. And you know, that was just something that like a lot of people were like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you think you're dying? Why would you think you have cancer? Like, you literally don't. Like, what's wrong with you? And it was just like every single day I was constantly like fearing that I was gonna get a disease, that I was gonna die, and stuff like that. And that traveled with me since like high school. And I remember my mom would like pick me up from school and she'd be like, oh, how's your day? And then I would just like burst into tears because I'm like, I'm literally dying, I have a disease. And like there was like literally like no evidence. Literally it was because my collarbone here, I would go like this and I'm like, oh my god, it's not a collarbone, it's a tumor, it's something else. So that's just kind of like, that kind of just shows how absurd and like dumb OCD can be. It's like, you know, there's nothing wrong with you, but you're just so convinced that there is something wrong with you. So that's kind of like my earliest memory of it. I'm not going to go into great detail because maybe like that can be saved for another video, but I'm just kind of giving a brief information of OCD before I continue. Oh shit, almost dropped it. The other thing I got from Rare Beauty is I got their liquid highlighter in the color Transcend. It's like a pretty rose gold, so let's see how this works. I really like the blush, by the way. Ooh, let's see how this goes. Ooh. Anyway, so point is, that's just kind of like my earliest memory of OCD. I used to just think I was a hypochondriac, but then I was like, I don't know, I feel like I overthink like everything into like and it just turns into a whole disaster. So anyway, moral story, I didn't know I had OCD until only this year because it decided to attack something so personally and something so basic about myself that it was kind of just like, wait, why am I thinking this? Why is this popping up into my head? Like, this is so weird. Like, why is this happening? I remember just being like, this is so odd. It was just the weirdest thing at the point where it was just really affecting my day-to-day life. And when I say it was just like really affecting me, it was like, never in my life did I think I was gonna get like depression and like all that. And it's because, like, you know, OCD leads to depression symptoms and stuff like that. And you know, basically OCD, you just get like intrusive thoughts, images, like commands, like literally anything that like haunt you. And it's they're ego dystonic, which means they go against what you believe and like value. So they're really scary. Like, it can really convince you of like many things. Like, some people literally think they're psychopaths because of OCD. Some people genuinely think they're murderers because of OCD. It's like all this weird crazy stuff, and it was just like haunting me and like continuously like throwing these thoughts at me, and I just couldn't handle it. And it was getting just so bad at the point where I was like, there's literally something wrong with me. Like, I refused to believe that there was something wrong with me, but there was just something going on in my head that I couldn't explain. And it was just also like, I know the thoughts weren't me, which makes it the weirdest thing, because with OCD it feels like your brain is hijacked. It feels like your brain is like just someone else. It feels like you're having a conversation with another person. So, hi Missy, my cat came in. So that's just kind of a brief overview of OCD. I'm not the best at explaining things, but that's just kind of what I've been dealing with. And ever since I kind of just like I mean, I guess I've always had it, but this like really bad experience that I've been experiencing the past few months have been really like kind of just brought into light that I had OCD, because I was like, there's something wrong. And then I went to go talk to doctors and therapists, and they were like, oh, you have this. And I was like, honestly, in a way, it was kind of relieving, because I was like, this all just makes so much sense into why I think the way I do. So yeah, ever since I found out that I had this, I was kind of just like, you know, it sucks, but it makes sense why I think this way. It's like, I just have this disorder, and you know, no one like asks to have OCD, no one asks to have mental disorders, but it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. You know, it's just something you're gonna live with, but you can handle it, you can work to fight it. So that's why I started going to therapy, and I had my session this morning, and I have no shame in saying I go to therapy, and honestly, everyone else should do it if they want to or they feel like they need to, so I highly encourage it. And now let's go. I think I'm gonna buy myself flowers, so let's go buy myself flowers. This is my outfit that I decided to go with. I'm sticking with the cowboy boots from Stagecoach. But yeah, simple, just to go out really quick and just to make myself feel kind of cute. This is an old Zara top from like 2019, 2018. Zara shorts. Pretty sure these are like from Boot Barn. And this is from Jerf Avenue, but yeah. So I just came back from getting flowers, and I won't lie, my anxiety got pretty bad while I was out. So for the rest of the day, I'm just gonna relax and chill and kind of take it easy. So I'm gonna make my space really cozy and comfy, so it's more like comforting to be around. And yeah, and this is like something I kind of deal with on the daily. I just obviously don't show it so much, but I'm just being more honest and candid for this video. But yeah, let's make my space cozy and comfy. So usually what I do to kind of like wind down, usually I either like watch a show, watch a movie, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. Also what helps me, I know this is like for kids, honestly anyone can have it, I find it to be very helpful when I kind of like fidget with things when my anxiety and like OCD is really bad. I don't know why it really helps me. It kind of just like distracts me at the same time. Or for instance with OCD, you tend to want to do compulsions, which are like either actions or like mental actions that you do to kind of prevent the thought from happening, even though it's like it doesn't do anything. It's just like super exhausting. So I think instead of doing a compulsion, I kind of just like fidget with something to kind of distract myself. And also another thing I like to do, I really like to play my Switch when I have really bad anxiety. There's tons of like cozy games that I've seen all over TikTok or YouTube, and there's just like some very calming games that you can play. So for instance, you can do Animal Crossing, or this one's called like Spiritfarer, I believe is how you pronounce it, and the music's very calming. It's just a very relaxing game. Same with Animal Crossing, it's like there's not much to it. You're just kind of like, you know, chilling. So when you're all cozied up in your bed and you're just playing a cozy game like that, it kind of puts me at ease. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play some Animal Crossing and chill out for a bit, and then maybe later I'll take off my makeup and see where the rest of the night goes. But I really recommend this if you have a Switch, so let's do that. of the night goes on, and if I usually still have anxiety in the evening, I kind of just do a little self-care routine, you know, do my skincare, use these like massage tools, and kind of just, you know, do this and chill in bed until I go to sleep to kind of calm myself down. Another thing that kind of helps my anxiety is reading before bed. I'm not someone who reads like a lot or anything, but I have found it helpful lately. One of my favorite YouTubers mentioned that, and so far it's been helping me. Right now I'm reading this book. It's Rewire Your OCD Brain, and it's actually been very helpful for what I've been going through, because a lot of the times people with OCD focus more on the scary thoughts and the themes, and they're like, oh my god, like, why am I thinking this? When I think it's more helpful if you kind of research and read more about why your brain is the way that it is, because it's kind of like, oh, this is happening because my brain is just literally different compared to a person without OCD, or my brain does this because XYZ, or I'm thinking this because it's this. So I found that so much more helpful rather than like obsessing over the random intrusive thoughts that OCD comes with. So I highly recommend that book. I'll link it down below, and yeah, I'm gonna read that for the rest of the night, drink my water, have some CBD drops because you can take it throughout the day, and I'll just be doing that until I go to sleep. So let's do that.